I have received a threat on Twitter. David French talked about receiving more than just threats online. He talked about threats of physical harm to his family. I will never say, I don't care what side of the ideological spectrum you're on, I'll never say that someone would make something up like that. He's talking about kids who are also at risk because he has a black child. Tara Setmeyer has talked about having to be escorted out of here. We've seen it. Escorted out of here by security every night because of the volumes of threats she gets from Trump supporters. That doesn't mean you, of course, Corey, or anyone affiliated with the campaign, but we have to call it for what it is. These people are not making this up. This isn't a figment of their imagination. Sure, there are a lot of things we had imagined this campaign cycle, but it's not threats of violence.
I get the same threats of violence every day on Twitter. Every time I finish your show, Don, I get, you're a bad person, Corey, let's meet somewhere, whatever. Like, do I take them seriously? Of course not.
You should.
This is people who want to bully people on the internet because they're weak, feckless, weak cowards who think that it makes them a tough person by bullying somebody online. That's what we need to stop, is cyberbullying.
But you said he was lying.
Around this table, I guarantee every single one of us have been a subject of hate at some point. There's been calls to my home. My mother actually had to ask one of the women, you sound like you're demon possessed, and she says, yes, I am. One of our colleagues, Kylie, has been called and said, I hope you die of cancer. They're targeting my house. They have targeted my children. Every single one of us have been targets of hate. It's horrible. It should not be happening. It should not be happening this election season. So to say that one campaign is responsible for it over the other is false. Both sides right now are throwing it at each other. It's not right. And it's up to you and I to set the standards tonight with our conversation of being fair and balanced and not sitting there saying, well, one side's doing it and not the other.
Who said that?
It's across the board.
Who said that? I didn't say that, and I was the only person on the other side. I actually said it doesn't matter which side of the ideological spectrum you're on. It should not occur.
So you acknowledge that it's coming also from the Clinton camp as well.
I just acknowledge that he should, if he's getting threats, he should treat it like
there's a difference between just Twitter and actually calling your home. And you brought out Tara. I can bring out Kylie. I can bring my own house. We're all getting it.
So I think that you're I think that you're so interested in having a fight that you're missing the fact that I agreed with you, Scotty. So why don't you?
Yeah.
Good night.
So Stephen Bannon says it's the alt-right, and he's saying that it is from, he believes that's from Trump supporters more so than anyone else.
Well, I mean, I do believe that this is true, right? So you do take some cues from the top of the ticket, right? I do believe that probably if you're in the political sphere, you're going to get some of this. Sure. Half of all of your responses are going to be negative, half will be positive. Like my old coach says, you're never as horrible as they say you are, never as good as they say you are, right? So you just kind of take all that with a grain of salt. It is a different caliber of thing, however, when it is about your family and it is about your home. When you have people like, you know, I live in Brooklyn, you can come slip something in my door. People have done that before. That is, when your family's inside behind that door, it's one thing. We have tough skin. If you're in this business, you have a tough skin. It's different when it becomes about your children. It's different when it becomes about your family. They didn't sign up for that. They signed up because, if you have a spouse, they signed up because they love you. Your children didn't even have a say in the matter. I do believe there is a real difference, however, when it comes from the top of the ticket. When Mr. Trump says, and has never apologized for this, by the way, in the good old days, they would have dragged him out of here on a stretcher. In the good old days, somebody would have punched him in the face. When he says that I will pay legal fees for someone who does something to someone, that is a different caliber of conversation. You cannot create a false equivalency and say that any of that has ever come out of Hillary Clinton's mouth. So they're just not the same situation.
But it did come out of Joe Biden's mouth, and now we find out that the reason why these things were happening was because of Hillary Clinton camp or the DNC were possibly coordinating these types of disruptions and creating this
Joe Biden, hang on, I'll let you go. Joe Biden said to
take it behind the woodshed.
Donald Trump.
Once again, instigating violence. It's the conversation of violence. It's happening on both sides.
You're right, but listen, he said to Donald Trump, not to Donald Trump supporters.
It's still violence.
Joe Biden is the vice president of the United States. Is that the example that we're going to give to our kids, that if it's okay, we're going to take you behind the shed? Because
I didn't say it was okay. I'm making a distinction that he's talking about Donald Trump. He's not talking about supporters.
Vice president of the United States of
America. And Donald Trump is running for the presidency of the United States.
He's running for the office. You know, what we saw is a firebomb take place at a Republican office in North Carolina. Someone literally bombed the building. Right? We didn't see that take place anywhere else. Someone could have died in that building. And what we see today is Joe Biden threatening violence against a candidate running for the highest office in the land. Is that, you're telling me that is If my child did that at school, I'd be called into the principal's office right now and said, your son can't do this anymore. We need to have a sit-down and conversation.
Are you talking about what Donald Trump said?
What Joe Biden said today.
I love the
So-
fact that you're opening the door about who set best examples for children.
He's the vice president of the United
but
States.
also, if your son said that he was going to grab one of the girls in class by the vagina, he would also be taken into that office.
Expelled.
If
he
your son
threatened violence against his classmate, he was the vice president of the United States.
violence.
That is violence.
That is
It's
a
called
sexual
sexual
violence.
assault.
Please don't get that confused. If your son made fun of a handicapped classmate, he would also be called into the office.
not
Or
what Trump-
expelled.
that's not what Donald Trump
What
did.
I'm telling
It is
you,
what he did.
yes, he absolutely did
So
that.
you'll excuse
He
the vice president of the United States because
he
you're such a
absolutely
hypocrite.
did that.
Oh
You're
my
such
God.
a
Okay, first of all,
No, he
don't
said I
do it.
would
Don't
do it in high
Vice
school.
president of the United
He
States.
said I would do it in high school. He did
So
not
where-
say. He
where
didn't wait.
is-
No, Corey,
where
because
is
you
your
keep going down
hypocrisy
this
for the
line.
vice president?
Here's the hypocrisy right here. We're talking
Angela,
about
you handle
Vice
it, 'cause
President. I'm
I
going to
can't do
try Vice President Biden saying what he would have done in high school. We're talking about your candidate.
He said today.
No, what I would do if I were in high school. He did not say I'm going to take him behind right now.
He did it today. He said it the second time. He
Whatever.
doubled down on it.
So
Whatever.
Donald Trump said it was
Whatever.
gonna take 11 years ago.
Whatever.
One at a
Donald
time,
Trump said
please.
this
One
11
at a
years ago in
time.
an audio tape. Joe Biden said it today.
Congratulations, Corey. He was a grown-ass man then, and he's a
Joe
grown-ass
Biden
man
is a
today.
grown-ass man today. He's a vice
I'm
president
so
of the United
glad,
States,
and
so
you
he
know
should
what?
stand up for
And guess
himself,
what?
and he should apologize for that, and he should apologize to Donald Trump.
I'm so glad that Vice President Biden will be the example that my 6-year-old godson will see, because your candidates, look, he's
So
about
he's
to
not?
sail into the darkness.
So
he's
Joe
about to
Biden
be
is
done.
not a role model. Is that what
He's
you're saying?
absolutely a role model,
So
and you
it's
can
okay what
quote
he
it,
said.
write it, do a meme, put it in Breitbart, put it in Drudge, and all the other
it's
sources
okay
y'all
what
like
he
to
said
quote.
today.
And firsthand
Charles,
reliable
hold on, Charles. You were making a point, please.
First of all, don't call me a hypocrite, right? Because you obviously don't even
So then you
understand.
should
You
criticize
don't even
the vice
understand
president.
what the meaning of that word is if it can come out of your mouth.
You should criticize
Don't
the
do
vice
it.
president.
Don't do it, because I'm not going to call you
soon as
names.
you vi-
Dude,
as
the-
soon as you
and the
criticize the
moment
vice
that you
president,
start
it's
calling me a hypocrite about anything on national TV, you don't have any space, Corey.
Why do you say that?
One second, you
Let him
have
finish.
zero
Let him
space.
Let him finish.
Then
You
call
want to let
the
me
vice
talk?
president.
Let him finish.
You have no space.
And call it the vice president.
You have no space. I don't
talking about the vice president
actually
right
even
now.
know what your role is. I don't know what your function is. I don't know
My
if you're
function
actually
is-
working for the Trump
I
campaign.
don't work for anybody.
I don't
I
know
work
if you're
for
an actual
CNN.
surrogate. I don't know what you're
So
doing.
let me
I don't know
explain
what
to you.
comes
So
out of your mouth
let me
and,
explain to you so
to
you
what
understand it.
degree
Let
it
me
is
explain
true.
to you. Look, let's
what
talk about the
degree it is
failing New York
honest,
Times
to
and
what
the
degree
dishonest
it
Wow.
matters
publications you
Okay.
publish.
at all.
Wow.
Do you want to
Go
talk
ahead,
about?
Corey.
Do you want to talk about
Yeah,
the
it is.
publications
This is not-
that
Hang
the
on,
New York
go
Times
ahead.
have posted?
Well, no.
And
The
the
moment
failure's
that
there?
you start with the personal attacks, you're going to get it right
Great.
back.
Number one-
Don't do it.
Don,
I'm not
I
the
don't work
one.
for Donald Trump.
I'm not the
Don,
one.
Don,
Okay.
excuse
The
me.
fact that you won't call out Joe Biden for what he said
can't
today, and you
believe we're
will
back
call out
here.
Donald Trump, is hypocrisy.
Don,
The fact that you
That's
can
the
never
very
say
definition.
anything critical about Donald Trump.
I've said it all the time.
No, you haven't.
Can I just,
Lies.
excuse me,
No, you haven't.
Don.
You want to talk about the
No,
New
you
York
not.
fact-
No,
Times?
you haven't.
Excuse me.
Go ahead,
Go ahead,
So
Angela.
Corey
No, you
and
haven't.
Charles, I would like to chime in. I want to take this in a different direction because it did get really personal. Here's the bottom line. Don, you're witnessing what we all are starting to see every single day in our personal lives, on air, and that is people targeting each other, hurting each other, saying things that aren't true about each other, because that is the type of example that one of the presidential candidates has set. It is horrible. It is horrible. This country has never been so divided. It has been years since it's been this divided. You will stand and or sit on national television and lie about someone with a straight face.
that's her conduct.
That is
I'm
horrible.
going to be the first one to weigh in.
Thank
We
you.
come
I
back.
appreciate
We'll be
that.
right back.